Tanzania.
Mrs. Julia Morley, distinguished judges, Miss World families, and my fellow beautiful ladies from all around the world, good afternoon. I am truly honored to be on this stage here. And now, before I go all around and telling about where I come from or what I carry, I would like to say thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Julia Morley, for creating a platform and a space that a crown does not only define beauty, but purpose. And today in this room, I do not only see contestants, but I see women who are ready to give and women with something to give. Now, I come from Tanzania, a country that is now known as the next year's host for Miss World. But what I bring into this stage today is far way beyond that. I bring the kindness of its people, the humanity, but most importantly, the genuine love in their eyes. I come from a very loving family, a family that will always keep me and my needs first, no matter what's the situation. And my father, who would always rather sleep with hunger rather than not giving me money to buy a fancy dress or a makeup that I found on social media. And I can tell you, it is not a fancy home. But I grew up surrounded by people who understood me. People who, whenever I felt less confidence or afraid, they would notice. People that anytime that I couldn't find the proper words to explain how exactly I felt, they would listen and they would notice. People that anytime I felt different, I was never treated any less. And for that, I'm truly grateful. Now, growing up for a very long time, I thought perhaps that's what every child has. But I came to realize that to some children, being understood is something they will never, ever take into granted. And then I thought about the children who communicate differently. The children whose silence is being mistaken for disobedience. The children whose different way of acting is being punished before being understood. And then I thought about their parents. The parents who wakes up every day, every morning, trying to find the solution to their children, but they really cannot find one, cannot even know where to begin. The parents who already have the burden to carry the fear of their children's future and still have to carry the society's judgments, being accused of witchcrafts. At the same time, there are parents who are always asked to be patient, but are really never given the tools to understand what exactly are they being patient for. And that is where I found my purpose, Nuru ya Elimu. I work with parents of children with autism, providing awareness, acceptance, but most importantly, physical understanding. Autism is not lack of awareness. Autism is not lack of potential. But most of these children are being judged by what they cannot do rather than being given an opportunity to understand what they can actually do. And behind these children are parents and a mother who is always crying when everybody has already gone away, wondering, have I failed as a mother? Where have I gone wrong? What is wrong with my child? Why me? Why my child? And the father who is always wondering, will my child ever be accepted in the society? And a family that is always wishing for just one person who would look behind and see a child before seeing a diagnosis. Now, with the help of professional doctors and related foundations, I came up with Understanding My Child. This is not only a book, but a guideline and a way, a direction to help parents, but our society also, to better understand their child, but also to know when, where, and how they can seek for help, and most importantly, to learn to believe on their child's potential. Because what I believe is that some children do not look or do not need for somebody to change them. What they need is somebody who can stay there long enough to be able to understand them. And I know that because I grew up surrounded by people who understood me. And that love gave me courage, and that courage gave me a voice, and that voice is what I'm standing with it here, not only for autistic children, but for their parents. The parents who are confused, afraid, and scared. And I want them to know that you are not alone and your child is not broken. And with Nuru Elim, I stand with no child should be left behind, no child should be treated any less just because they're a little bit different. Thank you.
Thank you very much.